Sorry about that, guys. I am totally dumb. I had my microphone muted. What's up? How you doing, everyone? Thank you guys for joining me today. Hello, Rune. Hello, Novo. Hello, Danny. For anyone who's curious, Rune Wolf and Novo are part of the official Ultimate Skyrim team. Here, let me crank up this music real fast. Jesus Christ, look at this fun situation. It reminds me of when you used to play, what was it, Solitaire? On what's it called, on the Windows default Solitaire game? Hey lady, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Alright, let me just get everything set up here. I was trying to get like a, what's it called, a stream overlay set up. I had one from before that I was kind of trying to engineer and bring up to date. I was having some weird Streamlabs problems, but that's okay. I'm not going to be able to do that in this stream. I'll just have to knock it out in the next one. So basically what we're going to be doing today is just some pretty standard stuff. You guys are going to find out more tomorrow about kind of exactly what's going on. I'm going to, actually sorry, not tomorrow, on Saturday when I release the next development update. I'm going to be walking through some of the remaining hurdles for the release of 4.0, just kind of laying out a roadmap as to what still needs to be done and how we expect to get it done. But in the meantime, I figured I would show you guys some of the development that I'm going to be doing today. The primary task for today really is just updating some mods, bringing the installation up to date with a couple different mods. Today, I think hopefully we'll be able to get through it fairly quick. Runewolf says, if you want, we can have a chat about your setup. I think I got it under wraps, Runewolf. It just took me, I think my Streamlabs scenario behind the scenes is a little fucked from before the count integration was like an official feature. But I seem to have got it sorted out. I just needed to sort out the chat and throw it up in my layout, and I didn't really have time to do it because it was like 5 minutes after 4 o'clock. I figure it's really not going to make that big of a difference for this stream, so why not just leave it as is. But if I run into trouble, I will let you know. Lady Winter has got some PB&J. Can't complain too much. Oh my god, I can't tell you. Well, I don't eat PB&J sandwiches all that much, to be honest. I just take a spoonful of peanut butter and a spoonful of jelly and mix it up in my mouth because I'm too lazy to toast some bread first. Alright, so what we're going to be doing right now. Hey Firing Ray, how you doing? We're going to be updating Immersive College of Winterhold to the newest version. Hopefully we can get more done, but you never really know how long this is going to take. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look here. In my right window, or my right display, I have the Nexus open in case we need to grab some more stuff. And this should kind of give you guys an example of what it's like to kind of update like a single mod. I'll also have to be doing some stuff off screen to keep my, my progress congruent with the progress trackers that I have. That way I don't end up missing anything from my own personal notes. So anyway, let's go ahead and go through here. This is 5.0 Immersive College of Winterhold for any of you who are curious. Book covers really doesn't matter. Unique covers for College of Winterhold added books. That is nice. Lighting mods. RLS patch. Relighting Skyrim. We don't really use any of these, so it's fine. NPC mods. Let's see. NPC improvement patch. Optional. We can skip all that. Nexus mods. None of that matters for our purposes. Oops. I'm going to rename this to 5.0. Let's see here. Yeah, I know. PB&J and jelly in your mouth without bread, it's a disgusting habit. I'm just that impatient. I just want to get it done quick. Reminds me of Frank Reynolds when he mixes the hoagie in his mouth. Alright, so you can see here, here's our massive list of mods, right? Mine is not nearly as massive as a lot of people's because really I try to keep at least this installation of Mod Organizer as close to the official, I mean this is the official installation, basically. So what we're going to do here is take, where do we install? Immersive College of Winterhold 5.0, so we're going to activate that. Now hopefully we should be able to keep this right next to where the original one was, so it's got to be one of these. Book covers Skyrim, Lost Library, Immersive College of Winterhold. Perfect. So I'm going to throw this up here. All the way up. Jam it right there. Now, the first thing I'm going to want to do is check through the conflicts just to see what sort of files are conflicting here. Chances are, I mean, this is fine. It's going to overwrite almost everything from Immersive College of Winterhold. This is a huge mod, by the way. Now you can see that Dawn of Skyrim is overwriting some stuff. Helljark and Farm. These are all just textures for little basic stuff in the world. That's not a big deal at all. We can leave that exactly as is. Now we got to take the plugins. Come on, baby. Give it a second here. There it goes. Take the plugins and see exactly what's been added. Actually, nothing. So it's got the exact same plugin as the previous version, which is not all that surprising. Which is College of Winterhold Immersive ESP. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go in to... Notice that both of these are enabled right now. I'm going to go into the College of Winterhold original. That's like 4.1 or 4.2, something like that. And I'm actually going to open this file, open an Explorer that popped up in my other window, and I'm going to rename that to College Immersive Old. So that way we know which plugin is the old plugin, and that's going to help us in a moment. We're going to refresh Mod Organizer, and then we should see this brand new plugin down at the bottom here, College of Winterhold Immersive Old. So this is the old version, and that is going to switch all of our dependencies over to the new plugin version. Here's one thing I got to check. I'm assuming it's pretty high up in my load order. Let's see. College of Winterhold Immersive is 39. Priority 65. No problem. Whoops. Not priority. Where did I just throw that bad boy? I'm going to take that all the way up to... There it is. Throw that right before. And now we get to run TES5 edit. Xedit, really. This is the app that makes it all possible, right? I mean, other ones too. But this is where I spend the vast majority of my time. This is where Ultimate Skyrim was built from. I apologize if this... I'm not sure exactly how sharp this will be on your guys' screen, because my screen is 4K. Which is a little rough on the eyes. And I figure when downscaled to a 1080p situation like this, it's probably even worse. Now, let's see. That's going to take a quick second. Pardon me for a moment while I get a drink of water. There is an alternative, actually, to Xedit that is available right now. It's called ZEdit. It's developed by Mater of Mater Smash fame and many other utilities too. Guy's a fucking champion. ZEdit right now for me is experiencing kind of a strange bug that I know Mater is working on. Might have even fixed since the last time I kind of checked in on development, whereby there's some sort of memory issue that's causing like a big old white screen when you load plugins a certain way, which is unfortunate because ZEdit is really cool. It does a lot of things better than Xedit. Xedit definitely still has more features overall, and I'm far more comfortable in Xedit just because that's where I've spent the majority of my time. But ZEdit is particularly awesome because of the way that it loads references. So what we're going through right now is Xedit is loading all of the data from all of the plugins in our load order, which is why it takes so long to get through here. It's not tremendously long, but it's definitely kind of a pain in the ass. And what ZEdit does by comparison is, put simply, it loads references only as it needs them, so it's much snappier on the uptake, and is just a generally quicker and sharper tool, since you don't have to load everything. Because the vast majority of data that we're sitting here loading at the moment, we are not going to need, since we're doing a very specific task. Alright, now, we got everything loaded up. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep this plugin in exactly where it is, because that makes it easy for me to update my other... I keep like a set of files that constantly need to be updated as I do my work. That includes the HTML files for the website and also the master lists, as well as text versions of the master lists and my 4.0 changelog. So all of those things kind of need to read the same all the time. It's kind of my internal system of checks and balances. And it definitely prevents errors and, you know, kind of version hells, but it also can be a pain in the ass because if I make even small changes, I have to implement those changes visually across like 4 different platforms. But anyway, let's go ahead and see here. College of Winterhold. All right, there we go. Now, at a basic level, the what I need to do here for any update or mod integration is just this is the grunt work. This is the really unfun stuff, or it can be fun depending on how you look at it. But you just go through every single record to look for basic conflicts. And this is one of the areas in which ZEdit is super awesome because it'll show us at a glance if there's conflicts. Everything here is completely proprietary. None of it conflicts in any way with anything we've got running here. You can see here these are conflicted, but there are no issues with the conflicts. You can see this green kind of situation over here generally means that we're fine without getting into the deep stuff on it. All right, now here's a little bit of some tricky stuff. Now we can see here these ones are red. That's because we've got let's see here. Oh, good night, Runewolf. The lady says, people are still releasing too much cool stuff for old RIM, started making the switch to special edition now that Cryptoper has started releasing her mods for SE. I know, it is a problem. I think eventually we're all going to be on special edition anyway, but until then, we do the grunt work of making the original version work. So as you can see here, we've got several different plugins editing these entries. Let's see what changes are important to carry over. Really, the problem here is just the name of the object and the description. So that's fine. Excuse me. This is really okay. Now this should be fine too, because we definitely want to favor Requiem's changes over College of Winterhold. It is kind of interesting how this only takes the body slot, and Requiem has it taking the hair and the body slot. Doesn't really matter. You can see there we've carried over some perks from Cryptoper's Fixes Rectified, which we replaced by this is the script that swaps out the robes for a different set. So that's fine. This is fine. Hopefully, sometimes we get lucky, and it just we'll go to update a mod, and it'll be nice and easy. And there's really, I imagine this one actually won't be that tough because, from what I understand of the changes in College of Winterhold 5.0, nothing should be all that insane. Now this is interesting. We've got the Hall of Attainment. Now, College of Winterhold wants to set these tint colors, ambient colors, and wants to set the fog very far away. It looks like I've got some proprietary changes here in Ultimate Skyrim, which I can't remember offhand where these resulted from. But, this all should be fairly fine. They could be changes from just like a certain bug that I experienced a long time ago. I wonder, CWI washer. Interesting. Well, okay. This is kind of odd. That's the old plugin, I'm assuming. Right? And this one doesn't have any data for sky weather from region. But this is coming from College of Winterhold Immersive. That is odd. Well, in this case, we're going to go ahead and make the proprietary, remove our proprietary change. Leave that there. Really, there's no reason not to forward this stuff along, or I can't think of any good one. So we're just going to go ahead and take this lighting data and put it on over there. No problem. Just let College of Winterhold Immersive do what it wants. And if I ever come across any problems in the Hall of Attainment, I'll know exactly what to do. In fact, let me make a note here. My little working notes. I'll see update. Ensure Hall of Attainment lighting is correct. Boom. Good to go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. These are references that place a number of NPCs as well as some other stuff. All of it is fine. We're going to see these conflicts resulting from the fact that we basically have a duplicate plugin here. That's okay. Really what we're on the lookout for are red text, red backgrounds, because those are where the changes from College of Winterhold Immersive are not carrying through to the final launch of the game, like this, for example. Same shit. I'm wondering where I got these lighting changes from. I don't remember them offhand. Let's see. Yeah, lady says, I will have to wait for US to hit Special Edition before I touch Requiem. The last time I tried to mod Requiem myself, I broke everything. It's very easy to do. God knows I broke enough stuff when I first started out. I still break shit all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to do something and had it not work when I jumped in game, or had it break something, then had to jump back in and figure out why. Oh, hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna close my my window so you guys don't hear any ambient planes from the Burbank airport. Boom. Ugh. It's good to stretch. In fact, you know what? Give me a second here. I'm gonna put my desk in standing mode. I've been sitting down for too long. That's that sound. Slide my little mat out. I gotta tell you, if you can afford a standing desk, it doesn't come cheap. It definitely took a little bit of saving, but one of the best investments I ever made, that's for sure. Alright, I'm going to carry that lighting data right over. Now we are good to go. We changed our, what is that? Sky weather from region. I don't know much about that little record there. Here we go. Now we've got Requiem making a change to this safe. Putting a master lock on it. That's fine. Most of the time, you're going to want to... this is where I guess it kind of comes with experience. When it comes to making mods work together, you kind of have to know what sort of things should be forwarded forward and what sort of things should be left to be handled by other mods. So for example here, let's see, lady says, I know enough to get by, there's always something to learn. Do you know how confusing it is to see bright green and red lines and grid-looking stuff shoot out of the middle of the sky? That's not happened to me, but I could imagine that's very confusing if it happens to you. So right here, Requiem is making a change to this safe to give it a master lock. I'm assuming it also hooks into Requiem's new lock-picking systems and kind of looting, so that's fine. This is all fine too. It thinks that there's a conflict here because, like I said, duplicate plugins. But basically what's happening, just if you guys are curious, is this is a reference that is placing a bed, and each plugin is referring to its own proprietary version of that bed, of the base. So really, that's totally fine. I'm going to keep going down here. This should all be nice and easy. Perfect. Delicious. You can see every single one of these is a placement, is a reference that places an object. So if you want to see how much work can go into the mods that people put together, navigation mesh, that's fine. All of this is likely going to be just duplicate records from the two. That is what it seems like, but for the sake of consistency, this is what I do for every mod, is I try my best to evaluate every single record that a mod brings to the table, just because I cannot tell you how many times there's been one little teensy part of one little tucked away record that causes problems, and at this point I think it's better just to be thorough and ensure there's no problems from the outset, right? If it's worth doing once, what's the expression? Yeah, it's like, if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing right, or something like that. Or my own personal favorite, it's like, there never seems to be enough time to do it the right way the first time, but there always seems to be enough time to do it again the second time. If you catch my drift. This is all good. These are all just duplicate references. There's going to be a lot of this kind of thing. We got Requiem making these changes. That's fine. This is a good song, by the way. How's the volume, too, by the way? Is everything good? You guys can hear me well over the music? Hopefully, anyway. How exciting, right? This is a dev stream. This is what development looks like. Firing Ray said volume is good. Player 2 says volume is fine. Alright, thank you guys very much for the feedback. I appreciate it. I kind of did some crazy shit with my, what's it called? My streaming setup beforehand. Let's see. Now, here's something that we probably should forward. I don't know exactly what this unknown light data is. So here's a problem that you'll encounter in many different types of records. Quote-unquote problem. There will sometimes be little data records that are unknown for a variety of different kinds of things. And from within ZEdit, it's kind of hard to see what some of that stuff does. You can generally kind of glean it from context clues by looking at the stuff around it. So light data. This is probably... What do we got here? Got a disabled light, which for some reason has this data that is different from the last one. That's something we're going to forward through. Or really, what should happen here is, since that would create an identical to master, we're just going to remove that from Ultimate Skyrim ESP. Same thing, really. All of these Ultimate... No, those ones need to be there. This one needs to be here. And this one needs to be removed. Just because, if you guys aren't familiar, you can see a filter for it here, remove identical to master records. An identical to master record will show up during cleaning as an error of sorts. It's not like a bona fide error. Most of the time, identical to master records are not a problem. What that means is that there is a... let's go back where we were. I use my, just in case you guys are curious, to navigate around to different records and stuff. I use the forward and back buttons on my mouse, which is really useful in ZEdit. Anyway, an identical to master record is any record that is completely identical, as you can imagine, to the one right before it. So if I were to copy all the data from Immersive College of Winterhold's plugin into Ultimate Skyrim but not change anything, it would be there, it would be identical. There's really not any reason to have it there in Ultimate Skyrim because the only plugin before it already has the all the same data. You can leave it there, like I said, it's not really a big deal. Nova says, unknown record entries are parts that ZEdit can read but doesn't know what it is. It's stuff under the hood CK does. Yes, so that's a more technical explanation. It's stuff that, when thrown into ZEdit, it's a little bit confused about, but if you were looking at this stuff in the construction kit or the creation kit, whatever the hell they call it, it would be clearer. I spend as little time as possible in the creation kit, let me tell you, just because, I mean, I don't know. I don't have enough experience with it to really offer you like a full opinion, but every time I need to do something in that fucking app, it's fighting me. Lady says, let's see, been binge watching your Kingdom Come playthrough. Love it. Not the kind of game I would see myself playing. Find it interesting watching you play. My favorite quote so far. That's a nice ass slapping sound. I'm glad you're enjoying it, lady. I've been enjoying it quite a lot myself. I heard that, actually I think it was Novo who told me that they're adding, or maybe one of my commenters, who knows, adding a bunch of actual modding tools to the game soon, along with some other stuff that should be pretty cool for the game's longevity. We'll have to see how that goes. Oh my god. Where are we? Which cell is this? Archmage's quarters. Wonderful. So we're going to have, honestly, getting through these cell edits is going to be probably one of the most lengthy parts of evaluating this mod. Just because a huge part of what Immersive College of Winterhold does is add a bunch of crazy shit to... and this one I disabled for a reason. I'm going to leave that. Let's see. Nova says, I don't recall that being me. Well, it must not have been. Let's see. You always feed me useful information, so I don't know. I thought it might have been you. Let's see here. Nothing there. This is what I like to see. I like to see a big old list of white, because that means I don't have to do anything, at least not yet. Subblocks, going through. Falkreath, Jarl's Longhouse, huh? What are you editing here in Falkreath? Maybe, oh, could be a teleportation, I would imagine. What do we got? Secluded cabin. Why am I... Oh. No reset zone, huh? Well, that'll have... What is this? Secluded cabin. Alright. I'll carry that through. Why not? I wonder what I have that edits the weather type. It's been... Usually, if there's something like this, where there's not a plugin containing the changes that I've made, that means that it came from one of the the plugins that, or like 100% of the time, or like 99.9, it came from one of the plugins that are disabled. I'd say a lot of the time, that will end up coming from the Trader's Patch Central, which, my God, the Trader we owe such a debt to when he allowed me to directly integrate his files into Ultimate Skyrim, because that has saved me just a lot of trouble. It was very kind of him to do. Let's see here. Got the midden. The same thing. These are... Now, what this could be is, you know what? I feel like I know what this would be. I bet you that this Sky Weather from Region, this is actually supposed to be that, but this is now referring to the form ID in the new plugin that matches whatever CWI washer means. So actually, I'm going to click through here. We've got 4 references in Ultimate Skyrim. Chances are none of them are supposed to be there. So that's okay. We're going to delete them as we see them. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and get those while we're on the topic. Bam, boom. We're going to head back. Hall of Countenance. Get rid of this one. Interesting. That's fine. And one more. The Arcanium. You can see one of, I would say it's hard to say what the most like singularly useful tool is, right, in ZEdit. But for me, if it's not this referenced by tab, this one's top 3. The referenced by tab is very cool because it will tell you what references whatever record you're looking at, and that can be useful in a billion different ways. Just, oh my God, it's very, very useful. I believe that is in ZEdit now as like default functionality. It was not at first. That was one of the big reasons why I couldn't use the app, but it might be now. Okay. What do we have? What do you have for me? The midden. That's fine. That's okay. What do we got here? Combat dummies. This is Ultimate Skyrim. Patching those for the sake of train and study. These are all fine. Same thing down here. That actually... See, there's like an example where even if you go all the way through this mod and you evaluate it for all the conflicts and stuff, it isn't completely patched if, let's say, the mod adds new combat dummies or training targets that the previous version did not have. That's not going to show up offhand as something that like is easy to tell at a glance, but it's the kind of thing you think about when you've been doing this for however long. Really what I need to do here, it's been long overdue, I need to create like a detailed list of everything that needs to be done in order to patch a mod for Ultimate Skyrim, because then I can give that to other modders who are interested in patching mods for Ultimate Skyrim, and they can do it themselves. What is this? Interesting. I'm sure it's fine. Edited for one reason or another. It might have even come from the Trader's Patch. Archery target. See, here's an example. Another one patched for train and study. And you and you. What else do we got? That's all fine. Good to go. This is what I like to see. And we got a couple more sub-blocks. These blocks can contain many sub-blocks, which is always a bummer when you open one up and you see like a billion different things you gotta go through. But I don't know. That's the job. You know? Oh, this is one of my favorite songs. This is Peaceful Waters from Morrowind. Can you guys hear the music alright too? Because I feel like that would be an important part of this stream as well. Getting to hear that beautiful Elder Scrolls soundtrack. Was it Jeremy and Julian Soul, I believe? So we are good on all of this. The Catacombs of the Midden, that's fine. All of that is fine as well. Oh, that song is beautiful. Oh. And sub-block 4. Some miscellaneous, holding cell of some kind. Holding a, looks like probably binary states for lighting. It's really interesting. All the different... Oh, Nova says the music is really low. Well, let's fix that, shall we? There we go. Much better, hopefully. Alright. Where were we at? Don't want to get myself tripped up here. Close that up. I was about to say, it's very interesting to see how different modders will accomplish their goals, right? There are general best practices when it comes to modding, like with anything else. But these tools are very interesting. I almost liken them to like my, more creative tools like the Adobe programs, right? In that there are tons of different ways to do the same thing depending on your needs and depending on what kind of constraints you're working under. Alright, so we've been through here. This should all be good. If I had to guess, that's fine. See, these are actually identical, save for the fact that they are once again referring to their own proprietary versions of the same object, which makes them think that they are conflicting, but they're actually not. Temporary. Ooh, what do we got here? Nav mesh, College of Winterhold, immersive. Here we go, all the way through. Amazing. These ones are patched. Yep, you can see all disabled. Boom, boom, boom. All the way down. Farm interior lights disabled. There we go. More disabled lights. These cell edits are not particularly interesting. They are just part of what needs to be done in order to ensure a contiguous experience. But they're fairly mindless. What do we got here? That is okay. Forwarding some U-Sleep changes there. This is over the... No, this is Silt Sunrise, this song. This one is actually in Skyrim now as part of the Dragonborn DLC. Let's see here. More of the Midden, huh? The Midden Dark. It's kind of cool, because after a certain point, you kind of get to know the world from within this framework, right? You see all these different cells. You get familiar with some of them. And after a certain point, you get so familiar that it makes testing a lot easier because you can just jump in and hit COC, the name of the cell, and teleport yourself around the world. Hey Zerpy, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see here. Subterraneum. Nothing all that problematic here. I'm glad you're excited for 4.0, man. So am I. As you can probably believe, we got some big plans for 4.0. Big plans for lots of stuff right around the launch of 4.0. Some major changes across the channel and with the website most likely, and with some other stuff too. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. You could almost think of it as a sort of relaunching of the channel, sort of. Maybe that's a little bit too overdramatic. Holy shit! What is this cell? Midden New, Winterhold Ruins. Oh, this must be a completely original cell. I think so. Hall of Countenance, huh? We already edited that one. Also a fun little feature of ZEdit. You can see that we've already edited something because it's bolded up here in the Ultimate Skyrim plugin. Hey there, Iron Man. Thanks for being here. Oh, Bo Radley says, love the work, Belmont. You inspired me to try out modding. Well, I'm really glad to hear that, man. That always warms my heart to hear. It's a very fun pastime, if I do say so myself. Zerpy says, thank you for all the hard work. You are very welcome, Zerpy. And hello to you, Iron Man. Thank you for being here. What else we got? Hall of Countenance, that's one of the two towers. Either the one where the students live or the one where the professors live. Professors, because you can see them added in right there. What else do we got? That's all fine. Bam, boom, bam. Good to go. What sort of temporary references do we have here? My God, many of them. Alright. That's all good. Let's hit here and jam on the arrow key, right? Oh, Here's something that we edit. Farm interior light. Moves the location. That's fine, I'm sure. You can leave it as is. Zerpy says, I unfortunately had some issues with my Ultimate Skyrim game, some glitches with iActivate and other mods, so I'm going to wait for 4.0. But I did make my own mod list inspired by Ultimate Skyrim. Well, I'm sorry for your glitches, my friend. iActivate I actually have removed from the installation, not because of any glitches, but just because of kind of a interface overhaul that I've been working on, you could say. Really, my primary reasoning for having iActivate in the installation was to get rid of the key icon, which is something that Requiem does by default now, which allowed me to remove iActivate. I really don't mind the activator text a lot of the time, like saying what you're going to do to the activator that you're looking at. So open in the case of a door, for example, or harvest in the case of an ingredient. Those don't bother me too much. I don't like seeing a shittily pixelated key transparency. Zerpy says, pretty much the key icon wouldn't go away. Tried to do the Requiem hide key, but it didn't work with US. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get 2.0.1 working with US 3.4 just yet. It is strange that it wouldn't go away with iActivate, though. That's something that could probably be fixed without too much trouble. Come on. Where are we at? The Hall of Countenance. This is going to have a lot of references. Got Nord Mead. Alto Wines. And it's like sometimes I'm tempted to just hold down the button like this. But sometimes if you do that, it'll quickly skip over a record that actually does have a plugin editing it that you won't see because it's going too fast. All the way through. You can pretty much bet that most of these are fine. The College of Winterhold, if you guys don't know, we might be doing a sweep to remove some of the more egregiously unbalanced elements of College of Winterhold Immersive. However, the one thing that is pretty cool is that in 4.0 it's going to be even tougher to get into the college, and there's actually like an already implemented little magical gameplay overhaul that I threw in there, where basically spells are a little bit rarer. The various court wizards around the world carry far less spells, and you really have to like get lucky if you're looking for powerful spells. And I believe the most they'll carry is like journeyman, related to their specific school that they specialize in. If you guys didn't know this, every court wizard specializes in a specific school of magic. So they'll carry most of the novice spells from their school, a handful of the apprentice ones, a small amount of journeyman, and nothing any higher than that. If you want to get any higher spell tomes, you're going to have to go to the college. You can trade with Feralda to get a small selection of higher level spells without actually becoming a member, but generally speaking, if you want to fill out your spell repertoire with any reliability, you're going to want to join the college, and you'll need to be at least skill level 50 in any one of the magical schools. You can alternatively find some of the better spells in loot lists and in places like dungeons. Those are obviously a lot more dangerous, so it's much easier to buy them outright. They're also expensive. Let's see here. God. The monotony of mod evaluation. It's kind of nice though. Sometimes, sometimes when I'm doing this kind of work, right, it can be a little bit boring, but other times it's nice. Sometimes you don't want to let your brain zone out too much because, like I said before, so many times one extraneous little detail will sneak by and end up causing problems. You have no idea how many times that's happened. But for the most part, you don't have to like pay super close attention when you're doing exactly what we're doing here. Let's see here. Iron Man says, you probably hate questions like this, but what are the odds that 4.0 comes out this summer? I'm not going to ignore you, man. I would just not answer if I didn't want to. But basically, I can't give you any timelines, really. You'll find out more come Saturday, because I said this earlier. The development update, this week is going to be about a roadmap to release that'll kind of tell you guys all the stuff that needs to happen. What I would like to do is get it out by the end of summer. It's tough to say. Because there's a lot to do in terms of kind of this kind of shit, like what you're seeing right now, and that stuff can take a while. It can not take a while. If it goes well, then it takes no time at all. But sometimes there's complications. There's just a few too many unknowns for me to give you any sort of hard release date or timeline. But we're aiming for like a handful of months. The other thing is that it doesn't entirely depend on my own work. There's some work by other individuals that the release schedule depends on, and I don't want to, put any undue pressure on them by any means. Zerpy says, just letting you know, I pledged to your Patreon. Oh, thank you so much, Zerpy. I really appreciate that. Really respect and appreciate all the hard work you put into Ultimate Skyrim. Brought my love for Skyrim so much higher. Just wanted to thank you. Can't wait for 4.0. Jeez, man, you're making me blush. You were very welcome, and thank you very much for the support. It always warms my heart to hear people getting passionate about a project that I love so very much, and about a game I love so very much, even just the vanilla Skyrim, right? And God, like, the Ultimate Skyrim obviously serves me in many ways. It's my most popular content by far, and I have my Patreon and so forth. But I don't know. I love the idea of Ultimate Skyrim as something that can showcase the talent of the modding community at large, because I think that, it goes without saying that this installation would not be, like, it wouldn't exist without all the modders whose works it utilizes, right? And I just, I like the idea of Ultimate Skyrim as like a showcase for how amazing this game can be when all of those mods are working together alongside each other, without issues and without bugs and stuff. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. So I've got some proprietary edits here. Lady says, sounds like I will have to try out Magic a bit more with 4.0. Never been much of a Magic player to begin with, but having to work for it seems fun. The only Magic I really used for a long time was to summon Flame Atronach. I cheat a little bit where I use my companions and the Atronachs as shields and distractions. I gotta tell you, if that's cheating, then a huge portion of the Requiem player base is cheating, myself included. Because Atronachs and followers are most useful as meat shields, I think. But I'm actually right there with you, lady. I very rarely use magical builds. I'm not very good at magic, has always been kind of one of the reasons. And I have like a particular inclination towards, what's it called? I'm just going to remove this. Towards like martial builds. But I'm hoping to dabble a little bit more in magic in 4.0, especially because there are so many cool kind of mechanics built around it that are new. And also like the things like Spell Sword, which I hope will allow non-mage characters to at least dabble in some magic in ways that they otherwise would not have, and maybe that would be enough to kind of persuade them to try like a pure magic build, right? Or something close to it. Alright. Yeah, that should be fine. This is interesting. This is now identical to Master. Should be able to get rid of both of those, actually. Looks like it. And this one, too. Interesting. Alright. It's very possible that this came from a patch. And the creator of College of Winterhold Immersive just incorporated it in the new versions. There we go. And what else we got? That's fine. Oh, my eyes are glazing over, as they are wont to do when you just stare at these small lines of text. It's a little bit more fun with you guys, I gotta say. Normally I just kind of sit here and do this myself while listening to like some YouTube Let's Play stuff or long form analysis or just all the kind of shit that I listen to. But covers Skyrim. Ooh. Interesting. Alright, well this looks like it needs to be patched. You can Havoc settle it. I wonder, Ragdoll data, that's fine. Looks like this is identical to Skyrim. Almost identical to Skyrim, anyway. Oh, these, like, disable this book. Interesting. What is this? Holding the Dragon? Whatever it is. We'll just go ahead and take that. I'm going to defer to College of Winterhold Immersive on this one, because it's obviously put where it is for a reason. And we're going to take that, and we're going to put that in the Ultimate Skyrim book covers patch. Bo Radley says, some really cool mods that expand the Civil War questline. It would be a fun thing to rise up through the ranks. I've heard of a couple of those mods, Radley, and it's a little bit, those, I can guarantee those won't make it into 4.0. But I've been looking for a good Civil War overhaul replacement ever since we lost the mod Civil War overhaul for just, reasons. You can bet that I'll be looking at that in the future, because I think, personally, that the Civil War questline is by far and large the most disappointing in Skyrim. I think it's a pretty interesting base. I think that a lot of what's going on narratively and thematically around the Civil War and in Skyrim is really cool. And if anything, that makes it even more frustrating that the Civil War itself is kind of this hollow shell of a questline. I mean, it's tricky because that in particular, I know the developers had so many more plans for, and just, couldn't implement their plans for one reason or another. But the Civil War as it exists in Skyrim is fucking so lame. Let's see what we got. Starting a new playthrough. Love this music. Oh, yeah, man. Now we got well, this is a playlist that I have that's a mix of Morrowind and Oblivion music. And I believe it's on shuffle. Zerpy says, also, Belmont, would you say ESF Companions is good with a non-Ultimate Skyrim playthrough? I absolutely would. The only, really my, the only thing I don't like about ESF Companions is that it has unvoiced dialogue, which is kind of a bugaboo of mine. But really, that's kind of a small price to pay, in terms of, the cool stuff that it brings to the table, especially where Requiem is concerned. I don't know. I think it's a really good mod. I think it's a lot of fun. It can be a little bit much, we'll say. And it's been so long since I played the Companions questline without ESF Companions that I don't know how I'd feel about it. It might be worth revisiting at some point. Bo Radley says, such a waste of the potential for the Civil War. Such a waste of potential for the Civil War. It's literal shit. I'm unfortunately inclined to agree with you, my friend. It is not, like I said, I think it's easily the least engaging questline, which really sucks when it's such an important part of what's going on in the world of Skyrim, right? In the province, in universe. Lady says, I wish on everything I could actually mod. I would love to make a Civil War overhaul. In fact, there are a lot of overhauls I would love to make, but one step at a time. Oh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling very well, lady. Let's see this. I can just scroll through. Harmony, hello. Thanks for stopping by. Oh my god, what cell are we in right now? Oh, the Arcanium, that's why. The Immersive College of Winterhold fucking charges the Arcanium into overdrive, and I love it. It looks so cool. That's also one of the changes that I made to the Immersive College of Winterhold. I made, what's his name? Urag Grow Man, the orc man who messes with the Arcanium. I found it a little bit strange that there's no, kind of college bar or no, food and drink anywhere in the college. And that you have to go all the way out from the college to the town of Winterhold to get any sort of food or drink. So I made him kind of like a quote-unquote bartender, wherein he offers some basic foodstuffs and can refill your water and so forth. Hey, Adam. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad to hear you're excited for 4.0. I am too. Let's see what we got. Okay, so here we go. Ultimate Skyrim edits a lot of these classes. Let's see, 12th year. Now this is kind of like a couple of subtle tweaks here, right? These classes are basically they add weight to each skill, which makes the NPCs that use this class more or less likely to use the what's it called? The skill, right? Player 2 says food and drink in a library, the horror. Guess they can just magically clean. Well, part of my decision to add that stuff was that there is kind of like that upstairs landing that's full up with a bunch of like tables that, you know, are just kind of sitting there. So I thought that was like a reasonable in-world explanation, although I do agree with you that our boy Urag would be at least a little bit upset. If there were like another space, like another area of the college that was well suited to kind of building something like that out, it might be worth the trouble. I could always add another cell and kind of build it out myself, but that takes a long time and also requires me to go into the construction kit, which I fucking hate. I hate going into that thing. Alright, done with classes. Oh boy, containers. Alright, now containers are one of my favorite types of record to go through. Let's see, Adam says, I'm thinking I'm going to fully upgrade my crappy desktop when it comes out. Well, good luck with that, man. Need some chapstick, my lips are chapped. So, these containers are basically a list of what the college teachers will sell. Now, this is an area where I've made a few, not in this one specifically, it looks like. Uh-oh. These guys, I believe, have some proprietary changes from Ultimate Skyrim, but maybe not. The fact that I'm not seeing them here is a little bit alarming. Let's go ahead and Winterhold spells. Okay, hold on a second. I don't like that. Not one bit. Let's see. Container. Vendor chest. Meadery. Vendor chest. Wizard. Yeah, made a lot of changes here. Wizard Windhelm. Huh. Wizard Spouse. Vendor chest College Urag. He's the only one so far. Weird. I could swear maybe I deleted them for some reason. One reason or another. That's okay. Whoops. Well, here. Let's remove all these. Oh, god damn it. I accidentally hit right click and then apply filter for cleaning, so now we get to wait for ZEdit to apply a filter for cleaning, which is a really wonderful feature. It's really awesome that it includes that. It is not what I intended to do. So now we just get to hang out for a quick second. Zerpy says, well, here, before I get too ahead of myself. Lady says, I got 1 million chapsticks in my house. I'll send you one through the screen. Oh, I wish, because I am fresh out. Zerpy says, Belmont boy, Dindulot is so good, man. I can't play without it. I agree. Oh, and I'm really surprised it doesn't affect my FPS that much, maybe a few frames down. I agree with you, Zerpy. I think it's fucking amazing, Dindulot. And it's, I don't know, Chesson is, like, if not, like, he's in my top 5 favorite modders. There's so many people in the community that I just have the utmost respect for, but that dude has done so much for Skyrim's stability, just for what the game can do. Like, Dindulot is, it's a game changer. Pun intended, I suppose, but it's like, the LODs are such a lacking part of Skyrim, right? Like, its default LODs are so gross, and Dindulot just totally fixes it, and without very much, like, frame, you know, loss, and you can really customize exactly how much performance impact it has. Just, it's nuts. I do remember the first time that I ever ran Dindulot thinking, like, wow, this is so, like, intense, right? And, like, confusing. That was back when I still didn't really know what I was doing with a lot of mods. And in retrospect, it seems so simple. I always see people, like, complaining about how complicated it is, and I remember feeling that way. Or just, you know, not complaining, but feeling like it was complicated. And looking back at it now, I'm just like, dude, it is just so awesome that this exists, and it's really not that complicated, and it's well worth learning how to manage. Let's see, Chesson is amazing, as well as, well, I appreciate you mentioning me in the same breath as Chesson, Zerpy, but I definitely would not count myself in the same tier. And Ogre Boss and Gopher, all are great modders, absolutely. Not complicated, all you have to do is listen to Gamer Poet's awesome voice. Dude, Gamer Poets, too. I believe his name is Michael, the guy who does all of the Gamer Poets videos, but he is an absolute godsend as well. So many individuals like this. like that, who have just really, I don't know, they're a great example of what's amazing about the Skyrim modding community, like the Skyrim modding community at its best, I feel. Let's go back to the containers. Now, see, this is what I'm thinking here. A merchant wizard, this is spell research, has quite a few different things. It's weird that there's no thing here, that I don't have any of the chests from these guys. Let's see. Now, it seems like as a general trend, the, in fact, here, give me a second here. I gotta check my own notes, because this is confusing to me, because I could swear that I've edited the containers for, these guys in the past. So I'm gonna check here. My own kind of, that's my working notes. My master to-do list, which is the big old list of fucking shit that I keep tightly under lock and key. Stuff that needs to go into the game. Yeah, see, I know that I've edited Feralda's at the very least. And yet it's not there. Which I really don't like. Because I can't explain why that is. Well, alright. That ain't no thing. I guess we'll just deal with it later. At the very least, let's take a look here and see what College of Winterhold wants to do to these. And we'll see what sort of changes we should forward. Now, this is a leveled list from Spell Research. It includes more leveled lists. You can see Merchant Wizard Loot, Test Wizard, Grimoires, Old Grimoire. Leveled lists are a very interesting part of Skyrim development, because there's a lot of little things like these flags and the chance none are very important in determining how stuff here will be distributed. So basically, if you want like a little crash course on this, let's see, Zerpy says Gamer Poets is amazing. He doesn't just tell you the gist of what to do, he shows you every single point so you can fully understand what you're doing. Absolutely. I kind of took inspiration from him when I was building Ultimate Skyrim. I wanted to be as thorough as possible. Zerby says, so in my mod list, I'm using Minor Arcana, so I have to use this patch for ESF plugins plus a Requiem patch for ESF. It depends. Let's see. What you would need, I mean, I don't know. What you need, Zerpy, is you need to be able to look inside of the plugins and see what each of them does, and then make your own patch. That's typically the easiest way to do it once you learn how to do it. Anyway, so we got some level lists here. What I'm going to do now, there's a lot of enchanted jewelry that College of Winterhold is trying to add to these guys, which is, I don't think there's any reason for them to carry that stuff. They should probably carry this stuff from Spell Research, just because it kind of makes sense to me. However, as this stands, here's kind of a problem. So you'll see here that Spell Research adds this leveled list called Leveled List Merchant Wizard, and if you click through, the fact that this is flagged as Use All means that every single one of these will be included, right? But what that means, so let's see, Research Journal. That's not even a leveled list, that's just an item. So every one of the college people will offer at least one research journal. So you can take from that. Here we've got a leveled list for paper. 75 means there's probably a 75% chance that the paper will spawn. Yep, you can see that. So here we've got roll of paper and a couple ruined book for, I guess, for some variety's sake. So what this means is that you go through here, calculate from all levels, calculate for each item and count. And this is a 25% chance none. So right here, because this is counted at 25, when populating the merchant's inventory, it will run through this leveled list 25 times. And every single time it runs through, you have a 75% chance of getting something from this list. So that would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whatever the percentage would be of 11, right? You got 8 out of 11% chance. That's not a percent, it's a fraction. Whatever it would be, the probability, you know what I'm trying to say. But that's how that works. You got here, level, what is this, ink? So you got 5 times it's going to run through here and give you a 75% chance to find an inkwell. So in theory, you could end up with none, right? That is technically possible, but probability and statistics will tell you that if you've got a 1 in 4 chance of not seeing anything, and you've got 5 times that, so you do 5 times 75% chance, that's how many inkwells you're probably going to get, and so on and so forth. So that's what really makes leveled lists fun. It's what makes the game interesting in a lot of ways, because you can add variability to a lot of different types of things. You can add variability to sort of loot that you'll find. You can add it to the sort of stuff that merchants will carry. Leveled lists are a lot of fun. They're probably one of my favorite parts of Skyrim modding. Anyway, question is here: do we give these college people the stuff that spell research wants them to have? Really, it's no problem if we do. I don't really care one way or the other. You could say it only makes sense maybe just give it to Urag and that these guys just wouldn't carry around that stuff on them, but maybe they would. And kind of the way that I treat merchants is that each one of them is accessing some sort of store that they have, right? Like the college merchants aren't carrying around 400 different books on their person. Maybe they're just selling it to you from their personal stash. That's kind of how I headcanon it. Anyway, this is kind of interesting. If we took all of these, well, actually this is the first like kind of major change we've done so far. If we tried to take these and copy them as override into Ultimate Skyrim, that would give us the College of Winterhold immersive version. Excuse me. So what we want to do here is go to Requiems and use those as a base. So we're going to copy those as override into Ultimate Skyrim. Bing, bang, boom. And now I'm actually going to go back to College of Winterhold immersive, go to Drevis, and now we can so that gave us the Requiem version of this person's leveled list. And now we're going to take the Merchant Wizard and carry it through to Ultimate Skyrim. And actually in the meantime, I didn't want to generate the Requiem patch, so I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hide that because we don't really need that for our purposes. And now we're back, so that's fine for now. Just throw that in there. We're going to do the same thing to every single one of these guys. Very simple edits. All we're doing is carrying through the leveled lists from spell research into the I already did 3 of them. Okay. Leveled list that will end up in our game. What we're doing right here is a huge part of conflict resolution. Wondering why these are marked with a yellow background when they don't seem to have any overrides of any kind. Let's see here. Zerpy, oh sorry, I've kind of neglected the what's it called? The chat here. Novo says, just a note, the chance none can be confusing. Usually those lists are named like spells 75, where that means it has a 25% chance none. That is very confusing. After a while you kind of get it, but it's like the leveled lists are typically named for the chance of getting the objects that they contain versus the chance of not getting them. This is also one of my favorite songs. This is a Morrowind song. Okay, now these are dialogue options. This is another area. Oh, hey, I've been thinking about who ought to lead the college. Do I still have... Go to ultimateskyrim.com. Need to make sure. I want to see, do I still have the Tolfdir mod that allows you to choose? Let's see. What is it called? Archmage. something. Can't remember. What is the one that allows you to choose between... maybe it's in my removed. Let me check the removed mods. It's very possible that I did. You guys know the one I'm talking about? The mod that we used to use that allowed you to choose Tolfdir as a as the college archmage instead of taking it for yourself? Because it looks like that functionality is built in directly to Immersive College of Winterhold now. I thought that was still in the installation, but I can't remember offhand. I'll just search on the Nexus real fast. I'm sure I can find it. That's all good. And here, I like to go through copy. Anywhere there's copy, this is where I just kind of turn into a crazy person. Anywhere where there's written copy in a mod, like dialogue or messages, I like to comb through it because I have very high standards for stuff like that, and I like to edit it where necessary. Let's see here. Tolfdir College Archmage mod. The Archmage Tolfdir? This doesn't sound like it. I don't remember. Well, I don't know. If it's there, I'll find it at a different point. Dialogue view. Door. This is all fine. Object effect. We got here. Now this is where... this is kind of interesting. So Cryptopers fixes rectified. Edits this effect. But the edits look exactly the same as vanilla Requiem. So that would be an identical to master for Cryptovers fixes rectified by Unmeix. Like I said, those kind of edits really don't fucking matter. Or it's very, very rarely going to cause you problems. Let's see here. Nothing. This is what we like to see. This is good. Tight. Locations. What do we got here? We got inconsequential NPCs trying to place an apparition of some kind into the midden. I don't know. This one's a little tricky because location records are not something that I mess with that often. Actor cell persistent reference. Now, in theory, we should just be able to copy this over. Winterhold College location. That's okay. Let's see, this wants to forward stuff as well. This is a little tricky. I feel like we can get away with leaving these as is. Student, because these guys are there. I know they are because I hear them talking all the time. Inconsequential NPCs are actually placed in the Arcanium. Well, by that logic, it is possible that we don't need to reconcile these things. That they be fine as is. Let's see here. Why don't I make a note in my notes here? I'm going to say location. Whoops. Location. Potential conflict with Incon NPCs experiment options. Alright, I swear to God, this master to-do list that I have is just so absolutely insane. Zerpy, BB, one mod that I enjoy you might be interested in is Jackson's Real Names. Actually, so Real Names is a mod that used to be in the installation and is very likely coming back for 4.0. I removed it for a couple different reasons. One of the main ones was to preserve your market stall, because there was like a important bug that caused that was kind of a pain in the ass. But real names is likely going to replace your market stall. In fact, I believe your market stall is actually gone already. Let me double check that right now. It is. So real names is coming right back in. Because I like that mod a lot too. I wish it had some way of updating in real time without doing that, either the little stutter or requiring you to look away. But I do recognize that that is a limitation of the engine, and there's really not a whole lot we can do about that. Here we go. Messages. These are message boxes. So my kind of general thing with message boxes versus like corner notifications is that anything in a message box can be second person or should be second person, and anything in a corner notification should be first person. So I will do that. The bridge has been bewitched to make it appear perilous and deter outsiders. Would you like to disillusion the bridge? Yeah, I remember doing that. Huh. These things are probably going to be fine. This is a message box. See, this should be... Actually, this is backwards. There's a lot of inconsistent stuff still in Ultimate Skyrim. Like what I was just telling you about the second person, right? Here we have a message box that is violating that rule, and it does not need to exist for that reason. Remove that. Blam. Novo, we are talking about the updated real names. The new one. At least that's the one I'm talking about. Pagoda. Same thing here. At some point, it's possible that I didn't actually make these changes. I don't remember them offhand. It could have been the trader's patch that I just copied over. But I could have made them too. What do we got? The orb deems me unworthy. Yeah, this does not need to exist either. Well, shit. Say these are none of these. Yeah, in fact, this had to have come from a patch. That's okay. Remove this one. This is an Oblivion song. Piece of Akatosh. Scry no power. Those are gone. We should be good for the messages. Whoops. Magic effect. Fortify alchemy. We got here. While near the charms, alchemy efficiency is increased by magic percent. That should stay there. It's really just a copy change. I don't know why that's set to restoration. Resist disease. Same thing. This seems like a trader change. Disease resistance. Miscellaneous items. Nothing there. Movable statics. Let us see here. Oh no, Zerpy, sorry. The Jackson's real names, I believe. I can't remember which one is the new one, but the newest real names mod is just the old one, like kind of updated with permission from the author who was no longer working on the mod. So they're kind of the same in that there's no reason to be using the old one over the new one. Navigation mesh info map. Oh, here we go. Okay, now this is where shit gets real interesting. Here's NPCs, right? NPCs are a fun record to edit. Here we have College of Winterhold Immersive trying to dictate the actor effects, the skills, the perks, just everything that you would worry about in terms of an NPC. And this is definitely an area where you kind of want to let Requiem work its magic. You can see all the different spells that College of Winterhold Immersive wants to give to, who are we looking at? Urag Groshub, which is the librarian. He is only able to use these according to Requiem, and those are what I like to keep. Generally speaking, I like to keep with Requiem where I can. In fact, I'm looking at these perks. Make them a little bit stronger. Here, let's do this. Fun fact, you can right-click in this little box right here to expand out all of the different plugins, like to include all information. So you can see if I do that, now I have to kind of scroll all the way. Or you can left click them to make them fit your window size here. Novo says Navmesh Records is where the fan hits the shit. That is very true. You guys know that better than most. Let's see here. I'll keep him with Adept Destruction. That's fine with me. He's not very good with Requiem. That's okay. Maybe not Expert Destruction. Because orcs are not really supposed to have that good of magic. Fun fact. He definitely doesn't have that. He does have an Orcish Dagger. Now these I do want him to have, because these are the AI packages that College of Winterhold Immersive brings to the table. It's a class Mage, Combat Sorcerer. That's all fine. None of it really matters. And you give him the skills that Requiem gives him. Give him the combat style. CS Human Magic, that's fine. College Expert, this is his default outfit. You can see this is all the fun stuff that you get to go through when it comes to NPCs. Most of it's pretty straightforward, but there's one thing in particular. These guys probably won't suffer from this. But if you're ever editing NPCs and you don't understand why your changes are not taking effect in-game, look for this record right here, template. I feel like that's something that people kind of get caught up on quite often. Is if something is here, if there is a record in this template section, that means that depending on the flags that are up here, your character will take a lot of data from whatever the template is marked as, which can be a problem. So just keep an eye on that if you're looking for sick, hot tips on editing NPCs. This is all fine. Looks like I gave him... What is this? Who are we looking at? Onmund, right? What is his whole deal? Onmund is a guy. What is his class? That ought to tell us what he's supposed to be. I can't remember what his specialty is offhand. Also, that's awful. There we go. Where is his combat class? It is up here, maybe? Just mage. That does not help me. Give him a quick search. Onmund. He's just like that. I remember what he looks like. I remember who he is. He's a Nord apprentice. Okay. And what is his specialty? La 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 la. Services follower. Shock spells, lightning bolt. So he's kind of a destruction man. He's a potential follower, so that's probably why I gave him these additional perks. I could try and stack followers to be at least a little bit more useful. That's fine, I'd say. Avoid death, that's pretty cool. Followers carry weight. Followers leadership benefits. This is interesting. What is this? Adds 60 carry weight, adds another 100 carry weight if option is used. Makes followers be able to benefit from bags of holding. Interesting. Did not know that. I mean, that seems like something new in the new version of Requiem that I had not been aware of yet. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not the boss of me. Got all those AI packages. This is all good still. Chances are these guys are going to be fine. And just kind of keep... Now you can see Jazargo's got a million bajillion different spells he can use, right? Nice. Now, he doesn't have most of these perks. He shouldn't have most of these perks, honestly, in mine either. Why does he have all these perks? That is an oversight on my part. That's why you always go through... Actually, College of Winterhold was originally... I've had to revisit it many times, the integration, but it was one of the first mods that I integrated into Ultimate Skyrim, so occasionally you'll find some stuff that is kind of antiquated and a certain way when it probably should not be. Now, he is also a potential follower, so we're going to overwrite with Requiem. Now we get to have some fun. Like, alright, what does it make sense for him to have? We'll give him dual casting. Seems fair. Augmented flames. What is it? Jazargo, he's a cat. Sure. And what is regeneration? Ward absorb, alteration adept. Probably not any of that. I'll give him apprentice destruction. And ward absorb, just so he's got some basic survivability. And destruction novice. Cool. Sound good? Sounds good to me. I think that's enough for our boy Jizargo. Relina Marion. She's got all the spells. She got the perks. Nice. That's all good. Feralda. Now she should be kind of a beast, and she is. Alright, that's all fine. She even ignores Fear Aura. Cool stuff. Oh, bye, Zerpy. Unfortunately, I have to head out, going out for dinner with some friends. Take care. Keep up the good work. So excited for what's in store at 4.0. Thanks for sticking around, man. I really appreciate it. And to all the rest of you guys, thank you for being here with me on this stream. It means a lot to me. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, that this stuff is halfway interesting to you guys and that you're willing to stick around. Maybe it isn't and you're just being nice. If so, or in either case, I appreciate it. Let's see here. Now, who is this? Drevis Naloran. He's one of the students as well, right? I think he's an illusionist. Let's see. Drevis Naloran. Give me some information on this man. Oh, he's a merchant for the college. He's also the master level trainer of illusion magic. Sells advanced spells. Okay, so he's a, what's it called? He's a professor and a merchant. Interesting. We must have already... Oh, I do remember we edited his container. I remember his name being in there. It's interesting why he wouldn't have, like, the expert perks. I don't know. Let's see here. He probably shouldn't have Adept Alteration. He can be an apprentice, though. That's fine. Adept Destruction. Let's give him... that's okay. I'm not going to give him Adept Restoration, then. Make it a little bit balanced. Novo says, I like NPC records. I do too, Novo. They're a lot of fun. They're one of the record types where there's just so many fucking things to look out for. In between, it's like, look at this. You got scripts you can apply. You got your flags that can really kind of change up their behavior. You got perks. You got all these fucking kind of basic vital stats to mess with. You got, what's it called? Here's your perks. You got actor effects and spells that they can have. You got their equipment. You got their AI. You got AI packages down here. You got faction alliances, just fucking skills. You got, wow, head parts even, combat styles, classes, outfits. There's just so many different ways to customize what an NPC does. Lady says, anything 4.0 related is fun for me. Keeps me content until release. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Lady. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. We got Finis Gestor. He's doing okay. He has a lot of perks. Honestly, too many. What is his kind of specialty again? Let's check it out. Finis Gestor. He's kind of sketchy. Breton Mage. He's a conjurer. Gotcha. Alright, so we can give him some fun conjuration abilities. Conjuration Apprentice for show. And Adept. And Expert. Is he a Master? He is... Yes, he is. Okay, Master Conjuration. Bam, there you go. We'll give him... Atromancy. I believe that is a... Yeah, it's a Conjuration perk. Elemental Potency. Augmented Frost. That is a... Not. We'll get rid of this Cryomancy. There's really no reason. Oh, shit, sorry. Requiem had it. I got confused there. Belmont Boy Hinras says, do you know if the current build on the website still works or is it outdated? I wanted to do a fresh install, but I don't want to go through all that work if it doesn't work right. So it definitely still works, Hinras. It's just a little bit less straightforward because there are some mods listed on the download mods list that are out of date according to the ones that are available now. But generally speaking, if you... Because, like, people still install it every day, and we're always helping people out in the Discord and such. If you install it, and if you keep as close as possible to the versions that are specified by the install guide, and also if you check the Discord for maybe some specific instances where a old mod version is no longer available, you should have no trouble, or very little trouble. Ninja Barney, what's up, my friend? Well, getting here super late. Will you post the good of the stream somewhere? I'm assuming that's VOD, and absolutely I will be. I'll be posting it on YouTube on Sunday. This one, unfortunately, will not have the chat VOD. It will on Twitch, which at least I think it will. But on YouTube, it will not, unfortunately, because I couldn't get my layout working in time. Oh well. But yes, you will be able to watch it in a number of places. Reese says, "Hey, hiya, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining us." The rest of this is fine, I'd say. Look, College of Winterhold even customizes their appearances. How fun. Here's our girl, Colette Marantz. She mostly has restoration perks. I don't know why she has expert destruction. She can have these ones. That's fine. She'll avoid death, and that's okay. Oh my god, Balian's hosting me. Oh, what? Holy shit. What is happening here? This is a raid? A raiding party. Oh my god. That's insane. If you guys don't know, Balian is one of probably the most popular Ultimate Skyrim streamer, and a very nice man. This is hello everyone from the Balian channel, I guess it would be. How you guys doing? This is insane. Look at that. It's like, what does a raid do? I'm so new to streaming. I'm such a greenhorn. All of this looks fine. Alright, sweet. And the rest of this is okay. Neria. This is one of the followers. Balian, how you doing, man? Really nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the raid. For whatever it does. It gets rid of all the bugs in Ultimate Skyrim, right? You get it? That's a pun there. Wayward Stroge, my dog. How you guys doing? Oh my god. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's like we're doing very exciting stuff over here with this development live stream. You can see we're looking at our girl Neria and evaluating the perks that she's supposed to have. Very exciting. Here, let's see here, Neria. I believe she's one of the students, right? Oh my gosh, 112 viewers. That is insane. Mine says 24, but I also don't trust my stuff behind. Balian says, very excited for 4.0 we are. Well, I'm very excited to get it into your hands. Let me tell you, that's for true. Come Saturday, I will be releasing a development update that's just kind of going to serve as like a roadmap. The timelines are still a little bit too sensitive for me to share, but at the very least, it should show you guys everything that we are everything that still remains to be done before we can release 4.0. Dev streams means progress. Progress means closer to 4.0. That is very true, Mr. Carver. Oh my gosh, there's so many people here now. This is insane. Balian, I'm very excited to get the beta builds into your hand too, especially beta 5, because that is where we are aiming to have our installer utility kind of up and running. We definitely want to release a version of Ultimate Skyrim in beta that is utilizing the new installer utility, just so we can make sure it works exactly as we intend. But that'll make, hopefully, everyone's life a lot easier. Let's see, I'm just scrolling up and down here. Okay, I wanted to check the perks for Neria. Altmer Sorceress, found in the College of Winterhold. Oh, yeah, is she a teacher? I'm actually not sure about her. She seems to be ambitious, highly confident in her leadership abilities. Expert robes of destruction. She's a student. Okay, well, whatevs. She's just kind of like a scrub, so she definitely should not have a ton of these perks. Say, hey bro, this is talking to Balian. It's like, longtime fan of your YouTube. Oh wait, no, this is talking to me. Man, I'm so turned around here. Longtime fan of your YouTube. I never knew you had Twitch. I was watching Balian. There we go. Left and came back, and yam. Well, thanks for joining me, man. Thanks, Balian, for joining me too. This is so... I did not expect this at all. Anyway, let's go through here. Let's take a look-see at these perks. Now, this girl's kind of a scrub, so she definitely should not be rolling with anything too great. She specializes in what? Alteration. That's okay. So I'm going to get rid of this cryomancy here. Whoops, I got rid of all of them. That is not what I intended. Let's see. We are trying to complete... Balian says we are trying to complete UT. What is UT? Without dying for the 3rd time right now. So we're all the hype and trying to get that done before 4.0. Maybe that's US. Could be. I'm not sure. But if so, dude, I can't believe that you managed to beat it without dying once. I've never even come close to doing that. I've never even come close to beating the main quest at all, much less on one life. I don't know if you know about this, Balian, but there's a new death system in 4.0 that you may or may not be interested in that will allow you to still have some decently hardcore death consequences without requiring you to... to completely restart your character, so it's not full permadeath if you don't want it. Basically, it works like Dark Souls in a sense, where you drop all of your stuff and you can pick it up if you like, or if you can get there without dying again. Balian asks, is there a bit I keep dying on? Not really. I just, for the most part, I never even attempt to do the main quest because I'm too busy doing all kinds of other stuff, and I end up dying somewhere that way. But to be honest, I don't even... It's been a long time since I actually got to sit down and like full-on play Skyrim, and before 4.0 releases, that'll be the first time I get to do it, when I actually sit down and do some hardcore play testing. Mr. Meeseeks says, oh wait, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. T with Crispy Richard says, do you play Fallout as well? I actually did just start playing Fallout. I have a New Vegas, I played Fallout quite a bit myself in the past, but mostly Fallout 3, a little bit of New Vegas, and dabbling with the older ones, and a very small amount of Fallout 4. But I recently started a Let's Play of Fallout New Vegas on my channel. Let's see here. Wayward Stroge says, I can't believe I wasn't following you on Twitch. Been so busy lately, haven't been able to keep up with everything. Don't worry about it, man. I just started doing these kind of Twitch weekly streams like 2 weeks ago. This is the second one. Same thing with Ikem Bokum. Says, I did not know you had a Twitch either. Followed. Thank you for Ultimate Skyrim. You were very welcome, my friend. I am working on a new season of Ultimate Skyrim. That will drop after 4.0 drops, because that's kind of the, the big thing. I don't know. The closest I've gotten to actually playing Skyrim for the channel, besides that, is doing like the development, not the dev streams, but just kind of like the beta showcases. But really, I'd like to get 4.0 out and released, and then start Season 2, because that way I know it's like a very solid experience through and through, and that it's been thoroughly bug tested, and all the features are there, so on and so forth. Balian, how do you keep up with when you have so many people chatting in stream? I gotta work on my streaming skills. You working on a new season Ultimate Skyrim? Just answered that one. Imagine dying around a bunch of high-level bandits. Yep, that sucks. You can't go back for your stuff that way. I don't know. You just gotta be clever with it, or we're thinking about adding like an alternative to the death consequence, where when you die, all your stuff is just gone permanently anyway. So at the very least, in that case, you won't have to worry about it in a sense. You're just gonna lose all your shit. Balian says, try doing this while also fighting in the Soul Cairn. Dude, the Soul Cairn is just... Did you go through the Soul Cairn when you, like, with the file that you beat the game on? Because that is fucking insane. Oh my god, that's nuts. Let's see, I was gonna say, Balian is pretty impressive. He keeps up with chat while playing One Life. I have no idea how you're doing. I can't even do that while I'm editing stuff in Xedit. Iron Man says, that new death mechanic sounds awesome. I'm glad you think so, Iron Man. Says, both times I've done all 3 main bosses. Balian, you are a fucking madman. That is nuts. I have to... Is that like on a VOD anywhere? It's like somewhere where I can watch it, or maybe like clipped? If so, definitely send me those links, because I will watch that. Okay, back to our girl Neria here. I gotta get rid of these adept perks. She should not have those. She honestly shouldn't even have the alteration one, but I'll be nice and I'll leave her that one. Restoration, what is that? Improved wards. Definitely no cryomancy. She can have the destruction one. I'm okay with that. Restoration apprentice. Fine. There you go. And there we go. Perfect. Balian isn't human. Yeah, I can see that. Lady says, could you imagine thousands of people? Chat is literally unreadable. See, that I can get, because at that point, you don't really keep up with everything that's being said, right? Like, you might glance, I'm sure, every once in a while and answer a question or comment on something someone said that kind of strikes your fancy. But I don't know. I feel like anywhere in this ballpark of viewers, I like answering stuff. It's tricky for me not to. I just don't get that much done. Anyway, I think Neria is fine for now. And now we're moving on to Enthier. Enthier is what? Let's see our guy. Now you can see that these guys are a little bit inconsistent. Oh, Zerpy, nice to see you again, my friend. Dinner got canceled. That part sucks. Mr. Meesick says, I've been watching you since I was a teen. I'm an adult with a GF, hopefully soon to be fiance if she says yes. Now I'm an adult with a scruffy beard. Well, man, I wish you the best of luck with your big question, popping the question. God knows that is a very special time in anyone's life, right? Good luck with that. I'm sure she'll say yes. All right, let's see here. I got Neria. She's good to go. Now my guy Enthier. He's one of the students too, I believe. Maybe no, is he a professor? I can't remember. He presents himself as a shady figure. Yeah, he's not like an actual fucking professor, super gnarly guy. He's kind of a sketchy black market dude. Oh, I think Enthier is the fence for the Thieves Guild, if I remember right. Zerpy says, make sure when you ask her the question, also ask her if she would play Ultimate Skyrim with you. Yeah, that's how you really know, right? God. It's like I have my fiance, she's played Skyrim with me in the past. We actually played Special Edition for a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. But I know she's very much humoring me. I know that Skyrim is not exactly her forte, but she likes it when I'm happy, so I really can't complain. Let's see here. This is all mostly good. We could give him a couple other little perks, but really, we don't need to. He's fine. Arniel Gain. We got here. Same thing. He's got all these perks. He probably should not. I don't like how... Is he really not edited by Requiem? That's weird to me. Arniel Gain. Lady says, reminds me of that thing about two gamers getting proposed. Will you be my player too? That is very cute. Always good to have a partner that plays games with you. Some are not into games. My fiance she's I don't know. I think that she's definitely like a perfectionist. So like she doesn't like to do things that she's not going to be good at. Like right off the bat. And I totally get that because I'm kind of the same way. We're very alike in that regard. Okay. Arniel Gain. He is Adept Robes. Okay, he's not super great. So let's go here. He should not be an expert in anything. We could give him Pyromancy. But I'm not gonna, because I'm mean. Let's see. Adept Destruction, not really. I'm gonna take away Expert Destruction, Expert Illusion, Adept Restoration. Alright, you can have that one. Definitely not Expert, though. But he should have... What's it called? Conjuration, like Adept at the very least. Why would he not? We can give him Expert, but that's not correct. Here's what we'll do. We'll punch through here. Adept Conjuration. Take the form ID, copy, get that, run back, edit this, bam. Adept Conjuration instead. Those AI packages are all good to go. Looks good to me. Tolfdir. He's all fine. He's got a lot more perks than he probably should. Let's see here. What is Tolfdir's specialty? I don't actually know that offhand either. You can have empowered elements, boy. Mine. Improved wards. Expert alteration, nah. No master. What does he have? Pyromancy, you can have apprentice. Adept destruction, sure, why not? What is 12-tier's specialty? I don't actually know. Let me check. Let's see. He is a master alteration man. Okay. That I can mess with. Well, then here, let's get rid of empowered whatever. Nah. Nope. No, no. That is Twin Souls is Conjuration, I believe, right? Mage Armor for show. You can have all that stuff. Sure, no problem. I wonder why he doesn't have the alteration perks. That's a little bit weird to me. Oh, thank you, Hinris, for chiming in. Let's see, Iron Man, do you think it would be possible to either turn your voice up or the music down a little? Here, I'll turn the music down. Just a teensy bit. Right about there. How does that sound? The lady says, we should all get together and have a perfectionist party. It would be the most well-planned, organized, perfect party ever. I agree with you, lady, and it would also never happen. Because we're all too busy trying to make it absolutely perfect. That's my problem. Well, shit. He should have some of the alteration perks then, right? He's got like a few of the basic ones. But not like the actual casting perks, which is strange to me. Oh, wait. I deleted them. I'm done. Dumb. Excuse me. Alright, well, he's got those ones. And why don't we go ahead and give him the Journeyman one at the very least, because he probably is not casting spells that are much worse than that. Oops, wrong field. There we go, and we're back, and give him that. Boom. Where'd he go? You're going to change that to a 1. Delicious. And that's fine. I think that'll be just peachy. Alright. There we go. Man, these NPC ones are really throwing us for the loop, aren't they? Same thing. This man has way too many perks. Who am I looking at here? Savos Aran. Okay, well, he is the, what's it called? The Archmage, so he can have quite a few. I wonder if he has a specialty. Let's find out. Savos Aran. He is a conjurer as well. All right. Just like our boy Phineas Gester, I think. Wayward Stroge. Man, I hate crashing after spending 15 minutes gathering materials. Ooh, that sucks nuts. Magnus, if you're talking to me, right now I am updating Immersive College of Winterhold to the newest version. So we're just going through, ensuring everything is as it should be. Which is easier said than done, but it shouldn't be much longer than this, to be honest. I'm looking here. Most of these things are going to be no problem. The NPCs are actually a big undertaking consideration. Okay, so he's got an appropriate amount of spells. That's fine. He can have empowered elements. Why not? And he is a master conjurer. Or an expert, anyway. Expert conjuration. We want destruction. Gone. And we'll go expert illusion. See, College of Winterhold Immersive, it's cool, but it gives like every single professor like every perk, you know? Which is really not that big of a deal because there's not even that many opportunities where they should be in combat. But you never really know when you're building out all these different systems. Crazy shit can happen. So I like it when they kind of behave as they likely would based on the skills that they should actually have. Magnus asks, is that mod on Special Edition? It is on Special Edition, actually. In fact, as I understand it, the new version 5.0 was backported, like many mods seem to be nowadays. I could be wrong about that. I actually can't remember where I heard it, so it's almost likely that I'm wrong about that. Stroge says, guess I'm done with Skyrim for the night, gonna swap to Fallout 3. Man, everyone's been replaying Fallout 3. I know Gatto's working on his own kind of special edition of Fallout 3 for his own self. Moses Beak says, bit off topic from what you're working on. What were your thoughts on the Alduin mods that were suggested on Reddit, specifically World Eater Beater? The others were neat too. I thought they were really cool, Moses. I like the idea of paying special attention to a single encounter to make it as engaging as possible. Whether or not they are a good fit for the installation, I would have to evaluate through playtesting myself. But conceptually, I like it a lot, and I did add it to my short list of things to consider for future versions. Let's leave them Adept Restoration, and we can get rid of Expert Restoration. You can have that one and that one. And Twin Souls is Conjuration? It is, yes it is. Okay, we'll give him that one too, because it's pretty cool. We'll get rid of these. Alright, and we'll get rid of this, what's it called? Empowered elements as well. There we go. Perfect. Oh, he has a red apple. Look at that. Mr. Meeseek says, hey, Balian, new step on hours. I've played Skyrim 4,100 hours. Holy crap, man. That's like even more than... Man, that's like more than I've ever seen before. That is fucking... That's got to be like a decent percentage of your life right there. I wonder where mine is at. In fact, actually, well, I don't want to check on stream. You never know what sort of information I might accidentally give out. But I know that mine is in the ballpark of like 1,800, I want to say. And I would say it would be a lot more if you count the modding time. I don't know if people would. I kind of would, because it's not like I'd be doing it if I didn't play Skyrim. Zerby has 500 hours. Hogan, nice to see you, man. Every mage character I've played, all use magic perks and multiple trees. Makes sense for the best mages in Skyrim to do the same. It does, which is why I'm leaving them like a few. But I don't know, they can hold their own. With the magical pools that I'm sure they have, they don't need the perks helping them out. Let's see these guys. Who am I looking at here? Mirabelle Irving. I believe she's a destruction mage, right? Mirabelle Irving. Oops, did I spell that wrong? Bell Irving. I did spell it wrong. There we go. Let's see here. She is a elemental mage, is what she is classified as according to the Elder Scrolls Wikia. Well, I guess we'll just kind of stick with elemental shit here. We give her improved wards and adept alteration, no expert, no conjuration. Give her apprentice, adept, expert, restoration, apprentice. In fact, call it adept restoration is gone, expert restoration gone. I'll give her apprentice and keep it at that. What do you guys think? And destruction, pyromancy. Oh, she's an elementalist, right? So that makes sense to me. Alteration improved, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's good enough. She'll be quite the combatant, I'm sure, if ever it came to that. Okay, only a few more. Sergius Tyrannius. This man. He's got quite the repertoire of spells. And he's like a student, I want to say. Sergius Tyrannius. What do you got? He is an expert enchanter. Interesting skill set. So, let us, take a look here. We can give him improved healing, improved wards, expert alteration. Alteration's kind of like enchanting. I think expert might be a little bit much. He can have apprentice destruction, even adept, expert, not expert illusion, adept restoration. We'll just kind of make him a jack of all trades. Destruction, electromancy, I guess. Sure, why not? You can have all those. Really, this stuff is kind of arbitrary, because like I said, there's not that many instances in which these characters are going to end up in combat. Let's see here. Aladroza has 256 days played on Death Knight, and wow, holy shit. Pencil Dick. I really like your username, man. What else we got? Magnus Immortalis. What mods have you created? Oh, man. Well, I made the Ultimate Skyrim mod pack. It does contain some stuff that you could call a proprietary mod, but I say my claim to fame is being a glorified librarian of sorts. Curation expert, if you will. Balian says, I wish teaching followers spells worked better. You and me both, man. There's a few solutions that I found. None of them work particularly well from my playtesting. It's tricky. I know that like immersive amazing follower tweaks has some options for it, which I've gotten like some minor success with, but I don't know. It's definitely wonky. Wayward Stroge says, remember, BB, you can make any of these NPCs any way you want as long as it's a part of your coda. I know it's my headcanon, right? Yeah, I'm an organizer and a chronicler. Ever thought of playing around with Enchanted Arsenal? I have, actually. That's on my short list. That is not so short anymore, to be honest. But that is a potential inclusion in future versions. Let's just say that post 4.0, I've got some really big plans for the installation moving forward. And you can fully expect that after 4.0 releases, I'll be adding even more crazier stuff to Skyrim. We'll see how the project progresses. Let's see here. Who's this? Ancano. Now, this one actually matters because, I can see that's why Requiem actually took the time to give him perks and stuff. This one's nice because that means we don't really have to do anything. Balian says, I like to combine it with Witch Hunter spells and use the firepower to light my sword on fire at will. That does sound absolutely badass, I gotta admit. All that stuff obviously comes down to balance for me because I'm a crazy person when it comes to balance. But I'm always looking to provide more gameplay variety to give the player more fun tools to play around with. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, it's Arniel's Shade. Gotcha. And if those mods... I've also kind of looked into... like new spell mods as well. And I know that some people have fooled around with patches for like Requiem for some of the more popular spell packs like Apocalypse. So who knows? It says, oh yes, for one small thing like that, it's totally not worth including the whole pack. I getcha. You never know. I said I've always got my ear to the ground for, like I said, like new fun ways to enhance the experience. Okay, thank God. We are finally through the bulk of the non-player characters. You have to balance the game for the players. Most will not balance it themselves. They absolutely will not. It's like an interesting thing where, like, Requiem, for example, has a lot of pretty, like, large gaps in balance. And I understand that, like, nothing can ever be completely balanced, right? Because there's always going to be... that metagaming element where if you have enough knowledge about the gameplay experience, you'll be able to exploit items and mechanics and features that your character would not know about, but you do as a player, right? But whenever possible, and like I don't blame the Requiem team for not even bothering with some of those gaps because of that stuff, right? Because, it is possible to just kind of unbalance things if you really try. However, whenever possible, I like to, through gameplay, eliminate any egregious gaps in balance or to give players like gameplay reasons to do the roleplay stuff that they'd want to do anyway. Because that's the counter argument, right? They say like, it's not balanced, just don't use it. Like just roleplay that your character won't do it. But to me, I don't know. I'd like to force players in a sense to not be able to do it. So it's not even an option, because if it is an option, if you're like me, you'll just sit there and think about it. And you go, well, I could cheat this and do X, Y, Z. I don't know. I like having that barrier there where it's like, well, I'm really cheating if I'm like consoling it in or something. What are we looking at here? Dremor and Melee. These must be patched from the traders patches, I'm assuming. Oh, I remember these fuckers. All right, that's all fine. Daedroth, PC level molt, that makes them not. So you can see this flag. Because that's not flagged, excuse me. That means that they're essentially not leveled, is a layman's way of putting it. You can see the level multiplier here. It's 25 in Ultimate Skyrim because they've been de-leveled thanks to the traders' patches. Balian asks, what's your favorite obscure mod of all time, B? That is a question. My favorite obscure mod. Obscure is kind of an interesting qualifier for that. Well, I'm hoping that they won't be so obscure come 4.0, but recently I added like a bunch of mods by a man named Stratovukos, which I think are really, really excellent for like the immersion and reactivity of the world. The reason I say obscure is because I think he's a relatively new mod creator, and so some of his mods have not gotten quite the notoriety that other mods have and maybe would over time. But Strad makes all these really cool mods that... add a lot more like rules to the game world and like things that NPCs will react to. So like a good example of that is how now in Ultimate Skyrim 4.0 you can't just freely hunt. You have to get a permit or else you will be poaching. And if someone like a guard sees you poaching, they will come up and ask for your permit. And if you don't have one, you'll be in trouble. I think stuff like that is really cool because I like anything that makes the player treated just like all the other NPCs in the game. I think that's a core like design fundamental of Requiem, for example. where like they want the player to feel like an NPC, like the player doesn't get special treatment. And in Skyrim, there's all these references to poachers and stuff, right? And hunters who are differentiated from the poachers, assuming that they can be because there's a reason. That sentence didn't make very much sense. There's hunters and there's poachers, right, in Skyrim. And I have to assume that there's something in world that differentiates the hunters from the poachers, or else why would every hunter not be a poacher? A mod like Strativucos, Ziz mod, I think adds a really cool in-world explanation for that, and makes it feel just a little bit realer and like an actual place where probably hunting game would be illegal because it's wartime especially, and every little bit of resources is useful, and that includes the game in each hold. Little things like that. Like he's also got another mod in the lineup that just adds like many more crimes to the game world, where like you can't just go into a what's it called, like a mine and steal all the ore now, and like no one gives a shit. Now you would have to pay for that privilege, and then you wouldn't be stealing. Balian says, would be nice to add a hunting station of some sort at each of those small hunting camps, forcing players to make use of them if they want to skin, harvest from their kills, rather than being able to do it on the spot. Well, so we have Hunterborn, which kind of helps that. You have like what's a good way of putting it? You have to make an opportunity cost choice when you are messing around with Hunterborn, because you can choose to do what's called field dressing. I mean, you might actually play with Hunterborn, Balian, I don't know for sure. But basically, every time you fell an animal, you now have to dress it at some point. Haven't touched Hunterborn in about 4 years, so I think this is really cool. It's something you might enjoy. The way that Hunterborn works is when you kill like a deer or whatever, right? In order to harvest anything useful from that deer, that includes, meat, it includes ingredients and a bunch of new proprietary types of items too, things like bones and little other accoutrements, we'll call them, that can be used for a number of interesting different things. If you want to access any of that stuff, you have to dress the animal, which takes time. So you'll go down, it'll give you like a little dialogue box, and it'll ask you if you want to field dress the animal, or if you'd actually like to pick it up and take it somewhere else, maybe somewhere a little bit more safe. See, I thought that was kind of like my original idea too, right, Balians, that it's a little bit too time consuming. But I think when the rest of the lineup is kind of built around that time and around the consideration of having to do this, it can really be something special. So like, let's say that you kill an elk, right? And like elk are kind of tough in Ultimate Skyrim now. They move fast, and you kind of gotta track them, or either hit them a bunch of times or be a really good marksman. So let's say you fell an elk. You've been chasing it around for a couple hours. Let's say it's 4 p.m. You can choose to field dress that animal. And if your hunting skills are not that good yet, it'll take a while. And once you field dressed it, like an hour will pass, or like an hour and a half. So it's like 5:30, sun's starting to go down. At that point, you can choose to like harvest meat or like harvest ingredients from it. Same thing. It's like you click a dialogue box, and it, in real time, it passes very quickly. But in the game time, like an hour and a half will pass. And now you're like out in the wilderness, and the sun's gone down, and now you got a bunch of meat and other resources that you got from the dressed animal. But it's a much more dangerous scenario that you've just found yourself in. So in this kind of instance, you can see how the idea of a hunter's camp, right, where there are some hunters that can provide you some combat support, or even just like a relatively safe place to sleep or hang out for a second, would be really advantageous for someone who just felled like an elk, because you could just kind of throw it on your horse maybe, and head over to where a few hunters are camped out, and kind of use their area to dress your elk. You're still not super safe because you're out in the wilderness after all, but there's someone there, and you got like a source of light, maybe a tanning rack too if you don't have your own, and it's like a little bit safer and more advantageous to do your dressing there. I think that kind of fits, hopefully, the sort of thing that you are imagining. There's lots of little touches like that, I think, in 4.0. Stuff like, this is also one of Strativucos' mods, actually. How, like, city... Oh, no, this is Google's mod. This is an obscure, cool mod, is Lock City Gates, which just does exactly what it says, where the gates are locked. You can't get in. if it's after a certain point. So you either have to be inside the city before a certain time, which is kind of like a thing you'll have to consider, or you can try and find alternate ways in through like Skyrim sewers or something like that. Balian says, my favorite obscure mod, by the way, would be the Vampire Bat Travel mod, where you can turn into a cloud of bats and fly around Skyrim. That is very cool. It's funny you mentioned that. There's a mod that probably will not make it into 4.0, but a mod that I'm very interested in adding in the future, called Way Shrines, which kind of adds some of the Way Shrines. It's actually called Swift, I believe. But it adds Way Shrine travel to the game, kind of like Elder Scrolls Online, through these like hardpoint Way Shrines. The cool thing about them is that there's like a fairly elaborate quest line that you have to do in order to get the Way Shrines working, or to even gain the power to get the Way Shrines working. And doing that in Requiem can actually be pretty tough. I'd say it's like at least a mid-game, thing. So you've heard of it. So Way Shrines is cool. Again, gets a little too micromanagey for me. I totally get that. My hope is that when the rest of the pace of the game is already kind of slowed anyway, that these slightly more micromanagey things are maybe less egregious. But I really like the idea of adding like faster travel options for characters who can like manage to do that quest. Like if you're in your mid game and like early late game, and you can manage to do that quest and then teleport yourself around using some resources that you might have. You also have like what's it called now? The carriages in Ultimate Skyrim 4.0. Everything is like crazy, way more expensive. But carriages in particular are a lot more expensive, so you would be incentivized to use those Way Shrines to get around. And so I can imagine the original, circling back to my original point here, is that if you had a mod that added immersive bat fast travel, right? I feel like that would fit really nicely along with those kinds of things, whereby like, okay, if you're a vampire, like you can gain access to this cool feature, right? That like other characters would not be able to do. So like maybe a vampire character doesn't even have to fuck with the Way Shrines. Maybe the vampire character finds it too micromanagey and is just like, no, we're just going to use this vampire bat ability instead. And I think that's fair, because being a vampire can kind of suck sometimes. The idea of being a vampire for me, or like rewarding vampire gameplay, is that it's, gives you a lot of significant pros, but also gives you a lot of major cons too. And that's something we're looking into for, if not 4.0, the future of Ultimate Skyrim. So just having all these different decisions that are all balanced in like one way or another is just such an exciting prospect for me. It's kind of related to the original point. But I could see how that ability would be super awesome, I guess you can call my original point. Okay, back to College of Winterhold. See, especially changes to carriage costs and use of Way Shrines. I agree with you, Balian. Mr. Meeseeks says, Belmont Boy, know of any good two-hand combat mods? Not offhand. It depends on what you're looking for. I think that if you can elaborate on exactly what part of the two-hand experience you're trying to address specifically. What else did I miss here? D-Light says, I'm currently following your Ultimate Skyrim mod guide. Almost done downloading the huge list. Good luck with that one, man. That is not easy to do, as anyone who's ever installed Ultimate Skyrim will tell you. As Loden says, I forget, does 3.4 have the immersive creatures and Moonlight Tales MCM option that makes more monsters out at night? 3.4 does not use immersive creatures, although it does have the option on that makes werewolves more likely at night. That is definitely the case. Wayward Stroge says, I love listening to BB ramble about U.S. balance, that and him talking about how beautiful Skyrim is, and how where he is his favorite place in Skyrim. I know that one. That's the one that I get the most shit for, easily. Gato will tell you how every single place in Skyrim is my favorite place in Skyrim. Obviously, that can't be true, but I gotta tell you, one of the things that I think Skyrim actually does very well, for all the things that it maybe does not do so well, but especially this is something it does well relative to other Bethesda RPGs, is like biome differentiation and like environmental variability. I know that Skyrim kind of historically in lore is supposed to be almost entirely covered in snow, like the whole province for most of the year. But I think, and Maik even has a little line about this in the game where the developers took an intentional artistic liberty with Skyrim's climate to allow for all these different differentiated holds and like different environments. I think it's just something that is absolutely amazing in Skyrim, and I love how different each area of the world feels from all the other areas. I think that's a really cool element of exploration in Skyrim, and it does lend itself to producing a lot of very pretty scenery, a lot of places that may or may not be my favorite. That's my ramble on that. Anyway, back to College of Winterhold Immersive. I'm hoping I can just crank through the rest of these fairly quickly, because those NPCs are, as far as I can tell, the last real major obstacle. The rest of this should be no problem. I gotta go here for not too long, so I was hoping I definitely will say that going through this mod has taken me far longer than it might have if I were just on my own, but this has been a lot more fun than going through these mods usually is, doing it on the stream. So thank you everyone who's been watching so far, everyone who stopped by at any point. Thank you, Balian, for rating me with your channel. That was absolutely crazy. It was very enjoyable for me. What do we got here? Bone Lords. This is definitely patched by the trader. I remember these guys. That's all fine as far as I know. The reason I'm skipping through these very quickly, oh my god, very quickly, is because I actually need to go back through Requiem Patch Central anyway. So if it makes any changes to College of Winterhold Immersive's newest version, I'll just scoop them up then. Let's see. Mr. Meeseek says, "You deserve this, Belmont boy." Oh, I think I'm glad you feel that way, depending on what this is. Let's see here. Fortify, Alchemy Effect, Arcane Insight, Alchemical Insight. Those are nerfed ever so slightly. Got a bunch of statics that all look peachy keen. A tree. Texture set. Wayward Stroge says, "Well, after you get 4.0 out, hope you're able to sit down and just play for a while. You and me both, my friend." It just seems so... Man, I can't remember the last time I really got to like sit down and like play Skyrim. My problem is that like I can't play it when it's still not done, if that makes sense. Even when I would do like the beta streams, which, you know, I'll still do. They are still fun, but there's always something in the back of my head that's like, I mean, I guess just because I spent all my time developing and I know exactly what still remains to be done and which systems are still not feature complete. And I know all the different possibilities of what like characters will be able to do once those systems are complete. And it's hard for me to kind of immerse myself knowing that stuff is not finished and that there will be so many different gameplay options once it is finished, if that makes sense. Gato says, "Modding Skyrim is never done, you silly man." God, if that isn't the truth. At the very least, though, 4.0's release will keep it in a... Like, it'll be a what's the word? Like a contiguous, like, feature-complete state, you know? Where, like, the other stuff that I'm going to add in on top of that we are going to add in on top of that, is... Like, it'll make the game a lot better, sure, and it'll influence the experience, but 4.0 will be comprised of a solid standalone experience that I would be comfortable creating a new season of Ultimate Skyrim with. Speaking of which, Wayward Stroge just said it's been over a year since Season 1 ended. I know, it's crazy, right? That's kind of like an interesting thing for me. A lady says, "Same here, BB. There's always something I'm trying to mod or fix and I can't play while knowing those things need to be done." That is absolutely how I feel as well. Oh my god. Automod says, "Message is being held for review. Allow, we'll post it to chat." I'm going to allow this one. Here you go. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Gato says, "You'll get to that feature complete state, and the next day, Requiem for Special Edition will come out." I hope that's not exactly how it goes, but part of me also hopes that's how it will go. I don't know. It's a weird internal contradiction. I just can't wait to get this whole fucking installation on Special Edition, man. I want to get off of... I know you always get mad, Gato, whenever I call it Old Rim. Um, I want to migrate it so badly and utilize all of the improvements in stability, and all the other improvements too. I just feel like between that and automaton, just some of the stuff we have planned, like that's the kind of stuff that's really going to take this to the next level, you know? Because I think that I think Ultimate Skyrim, even as far as 3.4 goes, can be a really awesome gameplay experience. I think it's even in that rudimentary state, pretty unlike anything else that's out there, just in terms of all the different kind of stuff that it offers. But like, I don't know. My point being, gameplay wise, it's a lot of fun. It's pretty okay. The accessibility is still the installation's number one obstacle. There's just like the floor for being able to start playing is just too nuts. Oh, hey, look at this. As Loden says, Gato temp banned me from Discord server for saying old rim. Yeah, he's gonna ban me too. Watch out. Kolowly says LOL. I don't know why I felt the need to read that one, but I definitely did. Or repeat it anyway. I'll read it, of course. And what do we got here? Here's something that actually needs my attention. No dwelling, exterior court, cap, snow. Interesting. I don't know exactly what this is. Sky Temple Ruins, exterior. This disables it. Now, what's it called? No snow under the roof is clearly acting as though the Skyrim ESM's changes are being forwarded through. So I am going to take this and I'm going to put it right here. And there you go. Little tiny patch. And that's all good. Check this real quick. Clearweather Tamriel. I could throw that in Ultimate Skyrim. These are the kind of little edits that it's like, whatever. It could be there, it could not be there. It won't make that big of a difference. Or shouldn't, anyway. Famous last words, of course. That's all fine. All fine and dandy. Snow drifts. No sweat. What else? Oh, God. All right, here we go. We got a nav mesh. That's all fine. All right, so most of these, if not all of them, are just going to be the duplicate records from having the old plugin version. And some U-Sleep record edits. No sweat. Oh, my music stopped. Let's get that back up. Or it thinks that it's still playing. What the heck? Play. There we go. It's when it's been deathly quiet for a while. This song is called Tension. Aladroza says, so been listening for like an hour or however long since hosted. Are you merging mods for a mod pack or something? If so, is there a place to get said mod pack? There you go. So Ultimate Skyrim's kind of like a weird thing in that it's not a mod pack in the traditional sense. There are some mods merged directly into it, but none of the mods are redistributed like without author permission, which is why it kind of is allowed to exist. But that also means that you have to download and install the mods yourself as of right now. So it's while it is far less controversial than a mod pack, it's also a lot tougher to play or to get running. We tried to make it as simple as possible, but it's it is whatever it is. That's kind of what I was talking about before, where like, in my opinion, the biggest, best thing that could happen for Ultimate Skyrim, as it is now, would be to increase the accessibility of the installation and the experience, and to decrease that skill floor. What does this say? BB, paying for the ultimateskyrim.com URL, and everyone still links to the BitBalloon subdomain. I'm honestly fine with that. Honestly, there's a lot of videos that still link to the BitBalloon one that are on my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, I do actually own ultimateskyrim.com now, and you can use that instead if you so prefer. I just wanted to grab it so that no one else can have it, really. And we got big plans for the future of that website as well. to where it might get to a point where the bit balloon hosting doesn't work anymore. Let's see here. Wayward Stroge says, what is Automaton going to do to make installation easier? So at the most basic level, Automaton will install the mods for you. So you don't have to manually install all of your foam mods and stuff, or manually install anything at all. It'll just go through based on a set of instructions that we've defined and take care of the installation for you, which is huge for us, not only in terms of just making it easier for users, but also in making it easier for ourselves, because that removes a ton of potential for user error, which saves us time troubleshooting. Balian, thank you so much, man. Thanks for stopping by and for having your community come and hang out with us. I really, really enjoyed that. And I appreciate it very much. I'll talk to you soon. I'll reach out to you soon with some beta builds too. Also, any of you guys, if anyone's a streamer or wants to stream the beta or just wants to stream any part of Ultimate Skyrim, get in touch with me and we can talk about that. That reminds me, there's someone on my Twitter who wanted to stream who's now my patron. And I'm more than happy to offer that stuff for free if you're like a streamer. It's like $5 a month anyway. It's not too bad, but still, for whatever it's worth, helps me, helps you. It's good for everybody, right? Good night, Balian. So close. I wanted to get this done by 6:30. That's supposed to be my sign-off time. I'm very close to that. I feel like we can do it. Let's see here. That's all fine. So close. Whiterun Origin has a red background. That's okay. Interesting. Water height default. Who cares? Lady says, if I had the patience to play beta, I would record it. Not a streamer yet. Maybe, though. Hey, well, if you do, let me know. And it is kind of a pain in the ass to get the beta running. That I agree with wholeheartedly. You really need to be kind of like a proficient modder before you can get it happening. Let us see here. Okay, this is looking real good for us. Last one. Boom. Last one. Alright. I think that's all the records we'll need to evaluate. Now we're going to remove filter. Not visible when distant. Oh, these are LOD files then. Okay. So, that's rad. So we're going to save again. And then, kind of what remains, the last thing we need to do is check for errors. Is the last thing we need to do for now. Yeah, see, here we go. Here's going to be some references that are going to probably try to call back to, what's it called, the old plugin. Now this part, I do actually have to go at 6:30, so I might have to leave this. But I can show you guys kind of what errors look like and like kind of how to resolve them a little bit. Error resolution is a difficult thing. It can vary a lot depending on what you're looking at. Now, these look like they're supposed to be edits to certain races, and instead they are injected references. That makes me think that the form IDs have changed. So probably... Okay, so we're going to jump here. Look for... I don't like this. Jump to... Or looking for hyena. Oh, okay. That's weird. Well, maybe there's just nothing then. Let's check our old plugin. Go race. Bam. Okay, so there's a bunch more. And they're all only referenced by the old plugin. I guess those ones are just gone. I guess they're just removed, I suppose. Well, that makes our lives easier, actually. So we can just go through here. I'm assuming none of them have any skins, or they're going to have errors across the board. Because now they're pointing to assets that don't exist anymore. Fun. Bone Looper. Yeah, and see, none of these are referenced by anything besides Ultimate Skyrim. And this one. Huh. Alright, well, let's get rid of these. Zerpy says, sorry, I didn't see if you answered my question, BB. What do you think of AZ tweaks? I think it's really cool. Oh, wait, hold on. Here, before I get ahead of myself, Aladroza. So I'm off to bed as well. Hope to catch some more streams. This is your usual stream time. It's unlikely since it's 3:26 a.m. Well, I'm sorry about that, Aladroza. But these streams will, at the very least, be up on VOD on both YouTube and Twitch. Zerpy says, what do I think of AZ tweaks? I think AZ tweaks is really cool. I think it has a lot of really awesome ideas. I think that for now, just with everything that's on the plate for 4.0, it would have to wait for a future version. I've also spoken with the author, Applesauce, and he's kind of clued me into some stuff that he's got planned. I know he's currently got AZ tweaks in beta for 2.9, so I'm kind of waiting for him to finalize and solidify a few of his more experimental changes at the moment before considering implementing it, but you never know what the future holds. I think that a lot of its, like I said, its philosophies are really, really cool, and I think it's a very awesome addition to the Requiem community. And it's very interesting, too, because when you have someone out there making that kind of thing, in subtle ways, I feel like it influences the projects around it, right? So, like, it's definitely influenced my own kind of decisions of what I feel like would be a good fit for Ultimate Skyrim. I'm sure it's influenced the Requiem development team in at least a few ways, so it's very cool. I would like to permanently remove these records. Yes, please. AZ Tweaks is for more experienced Requiem players, I would say, based on my understanding. Dylan of the Jungle, thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it. And now, hopefully, this will have eliminated most of our errors. Now, the fact that we only got those errors, or for the most part, except for the maces, I think there's going to be some weapon errors in there. Yeah, Mace of Avar, CWI Raptor. The fact that there's so few errors kind of on that first run through is a really good sign for us. It means that we're not going to have to do very much work. This might be a better example of like a error that we actually might need to fix. Let's see here. Same thing, object effect, Mace of Avar. Are we going to have a few other? Yeah, Staff of Worms. So chances are these artifacts might have been removed from, what's it called? From the new version. Let me see, just right offhand, 631. It's the last thing I'm going to check. There we are. Go, what is it? Weapon. Oh, shit. Yep, so that is like completely gone. And it's referenced only by Ultimate Skyrim and a tempering recipe at that. So I can delete that, and then I'll have to delete this too. Alright, well, it looks like the, what's it called? College of Winterhold just kind of decided to get rid of quite a few things, it seems. But I think we'll go ahead and call it there. So, let's see. The last thing I'm going to answer. Coming in late, and for the first time, what does Ultimate 4.0 mean? Ultimate Skyrim 4.0, that's just the name of the next version, my friend. The currently public version right now is 3.4. I'm jumping from 3.4 to 4.0. So hopefully that answers your question. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it right there. To all of you guys who dropped by, thank you so much for being here for the stream. It was a tremendous amount of fun for me. I hope you had fun as well. Thank you, Gato, for stopping by. Thank you, Balian. I know that he's gone now, but that was crazy. That when he had his channel come over and raid ours, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like that happen. Thank you to everyone who was here. Special shout out to Zerpy, to Lady for being here the whole time. Also to Gato and Runewolf for being here earlier. And really just everyone who was here at any point. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.